Yes.
All right, so here's some food for thought. Italian cuisine is already loved across the world, but now it's getting extra props. UNESCO has designated the Italian rituals of cooking and eating as World Heritage, but doesn't mention specific recipes or dishes. So what do you guys make of this designation?
I don't know.
You like it?
I don't know how to feel about this. Like, I feel like I'm one of those rare people, I think like you, who's like several generations Canadian. My background is Italian, but it's quite far removed. Having said that, there are certain dishes that have been passed down, and I feel really delighted whenever they pop up in our home. And yet, at the same time, I'm sure if an Italian was to see the way that this recipe has been passed down, they might be like, what is that? Like, of course, because it morphs and it changes with generations. So as much as I love this, I think one of the beautiful things about being Canadian is that we know that things change and cultural, like it evolves. And I wonder if this can end up making people be, I don't know, more sort of territorial and identity-based.
Well, the Italians already are more territorial about their dishes. That's why I find this designation, it's so broad and by design. Like, it's called World's Intangible Heritage, which is kind of laughable, right?
It's not.
How is it? Like, because if I can say this, I'm going to take a sidestep because a place in Lisbon, Portugal, which is the home country of my father. Thank you to the cameraman who's at Antonio back there. Thank you. Yeah. It is the school, the Portuguese School of Equestrian Arts. The kind of riding that my family does.
That's different.
That's not different. It's under the exact same intangible cultural heritage. But that you can quantify. Like, that particular type of riding is a beautiful thing. But how do you quantify a country's cuisine, especially a country where no two recipes essentially are the same? Every nona makes something different. Every region,
maybe
it's
town
not
to town.
recipe because it's the practice of it. And if I go back to my example really, really quickly, if you preserve the practice, it's not about the end result. It's the fact that the grandmothers are the ones sitting and they're picking the pomodoros, they got the tomatoes, they're doing the sugo and they're teaching the kids.
You don't think we've romanticized that a little bit?
No, I don't think so, because anytime that I go to Italy, I was just there this past summer, there are very clear practices that show me what the culture is, and I think it's a beautiful thing to preserve it.
Well, what happens with immigration? Like, we're right now talking to both sides of our mouths. We're talking
Open the tent.
globally.
It's not just for Italians.
Okay, well, as long as we're acknowledging that, because I think sometimes we do talk out of both sides of our mouths about wanting to have a multicultural society. There is more need for immigration around the world. And also, yes, preserving
I think it's a beautiful thing, the act of preserving these rituals, these practices, these traditions that are under threat because of globalization. That's a beautiful thing.
That is a beautiful
But this is so utterly broad. And when I think about some of the categories in this UNESCO intangible heritage thing, they're beautiful. Like, they preserved the sort of idea of the way they make ceviche in Peru. It's a very specific idea.
It's very good.
But this is so broad. This one feels like a cash grab. Sorry, people have to think, they have to sink thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get themselves voted, and it just feels like there's a couple of Italian people sipping espresso being like, let's have Italian eating on there. I don't know.